guys, greetings from Cali. I am back here to pack up my house, my little townhouse. I had been renting it out fully furnished, but now I just want to get rid of that stuff. I'm sending some stuff to my mama. I'm selling a lot. I'm doing a whole video on that, which will probably be in the next coming week, so you guys can get, I know I get a lot of questions around how to downsize, what to do, and I've done it a lot of different times, a lot of different ways. This time I am packing everything up myself, but we can talk about that later on. Today we are talking about Blackness, these discussions I see online. I've asked a couple of my podcast and my vlog guests about this as well, but this idea of moving abroad is somehow betraying the race, survivor's guilt, which a lot of my guests talk about. So we're going to talk about all that. So stay tuned, guys, because let's get into it. If this is your first time here, my name is Jackie O, and I am an OG, original Black Digital Nomad. I've been crisscrossing the globe with my toddler for the last 25 years. Well, not with her. She's almost 2, not quite there yet. I've lived in the United States, outside the United States. I've lived in over 7 countries, traveled to over 70, and my passion is teaching other Black women that this lifestyle is possible for them. So I offer tips, advice, give you the real deal of what it is like. So stay tuned, subscribe, make sure you hit that like button and also that notification button so you find out when I upload new videos, which is typically every Sunday evening. So let's get into it, y'all. And guys, if I didn't in this video say yay to each and every one of you guys, because girls, ladies, we made it to 100 followers. Holla to each and every one of you guys. Thank you. O Squad representing. We are truly real deal a squad right now. O Squad. So let's put our little O's up. I feel like we should have 2 hands and make it like an O. O Squad, I see you, I feel you, I love you. I'm thankful for each and every one of you. You guys who are the first 100, y'all are my OGs. Y'all are the originals. So I want you, if you're one of my first 100 subscribers, in the comment box, put OG and put what your subscriber number is if you know it. Because I appreciate you. I love you. I'm going to give you a shout out in the next video. So put it down there. Put your name and put your subscriber number. And in subsequent videos, I'm going to give you guys massive shout. Massive shout out to Kirsten Brown, who is subscriber number 100. Yes, O Squad, we made it to 100. So if y'all don't head over to Instagram and follow Kirsten Brown, it's Kiki Marie B15. I'll put it down here. Kiki Marie B15. If y'all don't follow her, you gotta just go do it. She's also another amazing travel coach. She brings the energy. I love seeing Black sisters soar and make magic and just make this lifestyle accessible to all of us out there, because I can't train every Black woman in the world. I wish I could, but and some people, I'm just not their type, and that's okay. There's sisters out there who are doing it too, and they're doing it in their own way, and that's what makes this space so important. And we as Black women got to lift each other up. So Kirsten Brown, thank you, thank you, thank you, and y'all better follow her. What's up, guys? This is Jackie O, the OG, original Black Digital Nomad and Globetrotting Mama. And today I want to just chat with you guys a little bit about Blackness, my Blackness, being Black and abroad. Because one of the first things I talk to my clients about when they are interested in moving abroad is mindset. And one of the biggest obstacles that a lot of people have in their head is that if they move abroad some kind of way, they will lose their Blackness, not be connected to their Blackness. And all of that is false, False. False. So let's get into it. Let's chat. Let's have a real conversation about Blackness and being abroad, deucing from the United States, and what that all means. So let's talk first about this idea that lots of people like to post online, which is there's racism everywhere. There's anti-Blackness everywhere. Like, you can't escape it. And the reality is there's some truth to that. There is anti-Blackness everywhere. There is colorism everywhere, guys. I can't even talk this morning. We're going to go and get me a chai tea latte in a minute. I'm up early getting this packing done. And there's truth to that, guys. There is anti-Blackness a lot of different places. There is racism. White supremacy is a real thing. But the uniqueness is in American racism. That is a special brand of racism that I don't think exists anywhere else in the world except maybe South Africa. And at least South Africa, Black people in power now. They're at least in political power. No, economic power is a different discussion. But political power, Black people got it. Y'all ain't got that in the United States. Black people in the United States, super loyal to the Democratic Party. I get it, but like, what have they done for you? Post in the comment box. I'd love to hear it. But this idea that you can't run from it. And the reality is, like, you can't run from all racism and all discrimination, even if you make your way to Africa. And I think I'm going to do a whole video about Black Americans wanting to move to the African continent, because as someone who is both Nigerian and African American, I got lots of tea to spill on that one. So maybe that'll just be a whole entire video. But one thing I want African Americans, my fellow African Americans, to realize is that, one, Africa is a continent. Two, is not Wakanda. And there are a lot of misconceptions on both sides, but for both my African peeps and my African American peeps. I think from my African peeps, it comes a lot from just not knowing and believing that Fox News bullshit that they get. I mean, Trump is hella popular in Nigeria. Why, I don't know. And there's an idea from a lot of, particularly Nigerians, my people, I'm talking to you because I've checked a lot of y'all on y'all thoughts and opinions about African Americans. Meanwhile, y'all can't even get a visa to come here. So, but I'll do a whole separate video talking to my Niger people about some of their basic behavior when it comes to African Americans. But we're going to keep this upbeat and positive because I do believe it's possible for Black Americans to move anywhere in the world and thrive, because we come from that stock. But I want to also keep it hella real and hella open about the problems and challenges you will eventually encounter. And I particularly think when African Americans want to move to Africa, in some ways, a lot, not all of y'all, definitely not all of y'all, you have either two mentalities. One, we're going to go to Wakanda, my people are going to embrace me, I'm going to have an amazing time, or I'm going to help and save Africa in a very colonialist way. Many times I've seen, we're going to go to Africa and do this, we're going to go to Africa and bring them that. Africans are good. They're hella educated. They have a thriving culture. Now, yes, a lot of African countries have some real effed up governments. Yes, there are problems with clean water, access to sanitation, with electricity, all that good stuff. But if you think that Africans aren't aware of that, they are hyper aware of that. And the problem with Africa is not necessarily one of like lack of intellect, although brain drain is real. It is also not an issue of lack of resources, because there's a lot of resources. But corruption, I'm telling y'all, corruption is a beast in Africa, and you got to get ready for it. Particularly if you are an African American trying to move to Africa and think you're going to save the continent or a particular country on the continent. So humble yourselves. Understand that, yes, Africa got its issues and challenges, and you ain't going to fix them all. You not. But listen to African people and let them lead their movements. And you can be a supporter. You can be an ally. You can come with your little DNA test that tells you you're from wherever you're from. But just know that there is a richness that comes from being born in the continent, growing up in the continent, and understanding that history and respecting that. So I kind of went off on like a tangent, but not really, because these are thoughts that need to be get out there and people need to hear it. Because listen, everywhere around the world, people are fascinated by African Americans. It is very true. Everybody, like, there's nowhere in the world that I've ever been that African American culture has not touched. And that's the real deal. And yes, there are issues in different places with people bleaching their skin, particularly in Asia and parts of Africa. But I also think that's changing a lot, particularly like in Africa. I know the last time I was in Nigeria, when I actually lived there, it was amazing. Yes, there's a whole bunch of sisters with wigs, and I actually don't have a problem with wigs. Like, it's a protective style. So every once in a while, I rock my Afro wig, and I love it. It's getting harder and harder now as my dreads get longer. So y'all YouTube girls, if you got tips, y'all hair girls, about getting this hair underneath wigs, I'm here for it. Post those links in the comments. Digressing again, but that's all right. Y'all with me. So I think that now when I see like African women truly like embracing their hair, particularly Nigerian women, and getting locks and getting dreads, and that is all stylish and in vogue. And then no one dresses like Nigerian women. No one dresses like West African women. Women from other parts of Africa look good, but like Nigerian women bring it. And so it's like it's amazing culture. It's amazing living in West Africa. I would never discourage an African American person from moving to Africa, but just understand that like there's a difference between being African and being Black American, African American. There's a difference between being African, Nigerian, and being a Nigerian who was born in America who moves in Nigeria. There are all differences, and you just gotta understand and like respect that and have an amazing time. And yes, you will see an obsession with like skin color and the color of people's skin, and counter it. Like, I call it out when people are being colorist, but I call it out in America, I call it out in Africa. But just meet people with a place of like love and respect, particularly with other Black people. And then call the F out on people when they say negative things about African Americans. I do it all the time when I'm in Africa, and it can get a little bit exhausting, but for the most part, it just comes from a place of like ignorance. Like, truly, it comes from a place of ignorance. And when you talk about like colonialism, and it's also the history of colonialism, remember, most Africans don't know the history. I actually toured some of the doors of no return with some of my Nigerian friends, and to see the lack of information, lack of knowledge they had about how many actual Nigerians were taken from Nigeria and brought to America, and these are educated Nigerians, was shocking to me, was actually shocking. And also, for the most part, like, there was like very much like a lack of interest as well. Whereas I was like, in tears. It was a very painful experience, although I highly recommend that if you can go to any of the former slave trading ports along the West African coast, go. Obviously, most people know Ghana, but there are other ones. Nigeria, Ghana, Togo. Just go check them out, because you need that. Like, your soul needs that. It is just so powerful. For me, and you guys know I'm a Yoruba girl, so I believe in the power of like the ancestors. I believe our ancestors are always with us. I look to my ancestors for guidance all the time. And if you guys want me to do a video about that, I will. But I could just truly feel their power. I could feel their terror, and I could feel their will to survive. And when you feel that energy going through you, I feel like you never ever lose that connection. And I definitely like Africa by far is my favorite continent in the world, and I've been to almost all of them. And no place be like Africa, no place be like home. Yemi Alade says it, and it is so, so true. So I encourage you to go check out the African continent. Know that, yes, the legacy of colonialism, the division that was pre-colonialism and was only exacerbated by the colonists, is still very much present, and you just got to recognize that. Like, recognize where people are in their struggle to overcome their both internal and external oppressions. Now let's talk a little bit about this idea that if you leave the United States, you are some kind of way leaving other African Americans behind to suffer. Taking care of yourself is in no way an idea of being a traitor. You are responsible for your own mental and physical health. And I know for me, to be my happiest, to thrive, to be able to show up every day as an amazing mother, as an amazing entrepreneur, as a person who considers myself an influencer and gets out there inspiring people, I got to be fueled up. And the way I get that is being in places that lift me up as opposed to tearing me down. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody should move abroad, because moving abroad ain't for everybody. My mama loves living in her house in the hood in Pittsburgh. She loves it. She loves the neighborhood. She loves the culture. She's been there forever. Everybody knows her. And there's nothing wrong with that. You got to do what's happy for you. You got to do what makes you happy. Now, there are some of us who there is just a calling. There's a calling to see more. There's a calling to want more. There's a calling to explore. And there is this need to be over microaggressions and dumb shit and white work culture. And for me, what I need, and I know some of you guys listening to this can relate, you need something different. You need an environment where your color isn't always the negative in your room. Now, your color in some other cultures may be the curiosity in the room, but it is not the negative. There is not all these people snatching their purses and grabbing their children. Because that stuff, that can get exhausting real quick, fast, and in a hurry. So there is no need to accuse those who are leaving of doing anything but doing what brings them joy. And if you think about what our ancestors would want, and I think about this a lot because I said, yes, you guys know, I'm hella channeled, hella connected to my ancestors. And when I see folks with those t-shirts that say, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams, that is motherfucking true. You are your ancestors' wildest dreams. I'm my ancestors' wildest dreams. And you know what? Because I'm out here living my best life, I'm out here speaking my truth, and I'm out here doing the most that I can do with the time that I have in this body. And that is all they ever wanted for us. That's all they ever wanted for themselves, to live a full and complete life with dignity and to be able to have the opportunity to thrive. And if you were doing that, then you're living your best life. And that can be in the United States, that can be in Europe, that can be in Canada, that can be in Central and South America, that can be on the African continent. It's you doing you, boo. And there are no limits to that. The only limits you have are in your mind, because ain't no way, ain't no how, nobody gonna take my blackness from me. I am a hella proud Black woman. I am full of nothing but Black girl magic, but guess what? I'm protecting that magic. Because that magic ain't invincible. Yeah, I'm strong, but I can be broken. And I need all y'all to hear that. We are hella strong, and I embrace that. We are hella strong, but we feel pain, we hurt, we suffer, and we wasn't put on this earth to do that, y'all. We weren't. Now, some people have the fight or flight. I won't even say flight. Some people, you got to do what you got to do to protect you. And I will always be here for Black people. I will always show up in the way that works for me. But living in the U.S., it ain't for me. It ain't for me. And it's not the way I want to raise my daughter. So I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. Is living in the U.S. for you? Is it not for you? Why? Why not? And have you ever heard these comments around leaving the U.S. is abandoning the U.S., abandoning your Blackness, any of that good stuff? So post them down here, guys, because I really want to read, reply, and comment. I love having conversations with you. I'm calling you guys my O squad because that's what you are. You O out. And even if you're not out, you're open to having amazing conversations. And that's why I appreciate each and every one of you.
Hey, Black girl. Hey, you good? Because I'm fabulous. I'm a digital nomad, and my lifestyle allows my daughter and I to experience new places, culture, foods, and people. Living abroad and or traveling full-time is amazing. It is freedom. I can work from anywhere. I want more Black women to experience the same sort of freedom. I help Black women manifest their dreams of a life abroad or a full-time travel. Are you ready for a life beyond your wildest dreams?